Welcome back. Time traveling tonight. Time warp fishing in the Forest Brothers spectrum. This is not my time machine. This belongs to someone else. In some regards, I'm traveling all the way back to post-World War II, anywhere in the Baltic states. When the Germans were defeated and pushed out of the Baltic states and other places, the Soviets were right there to take their place. When World War II ended, the Baltic states, the Estonians, the Lithuanians, and the Latvians all thought they were finally going to regain their independence because they had been occupied by the Germans throughout the duration of the war. Sadly, when the Germans were gone, the Soviets came in and everybody realized they were back to occupied. Many people just weren't happy with this. So shortly after the Soviets came in, a regiment formed, a guerrilla regiment, but with uniforms and everything. They were the Forest Brothers. The Forest Brothers of the Baltic states. And they fought the Soviets, the commies, because the Soviets were the commies then. They fought them to the bitter end, right up until they were defeated. Not the commies, not the Soviets. Eventually the Soviets eradicated the Forest Brothers, so they thought. Some of the Forest Brothers held on for eons. They had to hide from the Soviets inside the very DNA that some of us have inherited today. Even though some still remained, everything went quiet and the Soviets went along. You see, at that time, things weren't so good in the Soviet Union. However, things were good in the Baltic states, so a lot of Russians and other people, ethnic Russian and just people from other parts of the Soviet Union, found their way to the Baltic states, say Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and worked in factory towns. There was work, there was plenty of food, whereas where they came from, like say Siberia or other far reaches in Russia, there wasn't much in the shop. Now they're in eastern Estonia, for example, and the shops are full of food. And the Russians set forth to build these massive towns out in the middle of nowhere. Some of them were closed cities because they were mining uranium, and it went on like that. Massive building projects, big factory towns, some closed, some open. And the Forest Brothers were very quiet, but inside every Estonian, Latvian, Lithuanian, they wanted independence, right? They dreamt of freedom, of a sovereign state. In time, they had to come to terms with their new neighbors. And over time, eventually, things like the Berlin Wall happened, and Gorbachev disbanded the Communist Party, and the Soviet Union started to fall apart. And eventually, the Baltic states and numerous other states retained their sovereign identity, their borders. But at this point, things in the Soviet Union were crumbling, right? So when the Soviet Union disbanded, dissolved, became Russia, and other places become like Georgia, again, Estonia again, Latvia again, and Lithuania again. They're left with a crumbling infrastructure that was left behind by the retreating Soviets, or the retreating state, because the state left people behind. These towns that were on the decline now, closed and open, the ones that mined uranium and the ones that made other things, were left declining with Russians and other people from other parts of the Soviet Union. To this day, there's still the question of how do we go forth? Are they Estonian or not? To many people, they've been there so long that they're just people. They may be ethnic Russian, but they are nationally Estonian. So why would I seem to dedicate a whole video? You may notice that we're going from film grain to vintage to make things look older, maybe even like some creepy black and white. I like to call upon blood. My blood. The past, the present, and the future. Because in my blood, there's a lot of representation that takes me all around the Baltic Sea, but not into Finland. That takes me all around the UK, all around the English Channel. It takes me up to Norway and across over from Bergen to the Faroes. It has me spending some time, maybe for lunch, in Denmark. Lots of Norse blood. From the Faroe Islands up to Iceland, down to the Shetlands. My DNA represents me in Guernsey, in Jersey. It has me on Gotland. It has me associated with a lot of islands in that general area. And it has me entrenched in places like eastern Alabama, eastern Tennessee, up to Kentucky, and going even further east into like West Virginia. That's where my DNA community is. But there's even more ancient things racing through my blood, and I like to get in touch with it through my fishing, through spirituality, through my dreaming, through reading, through history, through what's going on now to what happened then and what the future may look like. The future of this video, however, is not looking too bright. We should try hard to make things brighter. We could try even really hard and try to make time travel possible. Did you know we're going to have 2 moons briefly coming up soon? Sometimes to know oneself, it helps to know the ones before you, your ancestors. You don't always have to get a huge heart on about it. For some people, it's this huge source of pride. You should be proud of what you've achieved, as well as what your ancestors have achieved. But don't let your ancestors be your only source of pride. Think about where you're at. Think about the moment you're in and the moments way before you. Earlier, before I set out to shoot this, it had just gone dark, and I didn't feel like I had any inspiration in me. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought, yes, I want to make a video. So I walked the dogs out. The sun had just went down. It was just freshly dark. So it was like a very dark blue sky opposed to fairly black right now. It's nice. Breeze was out. It'd been a warm day. And I walked over to McDonald's and I saw a cup in a tree. And then I ran into my friend Patty, and we had a conversation, a brief conversation. And I went home. The bubbles went backwards. The Forest Brothers went on the big speaker, because the Forest Brothers may have been defeated and didn't achieve independence. There is something culturally that they achieved, and a lot of people have achieved a similar significance. Lots and lots of brilliant folk music. However, you have to have an open mind when you listen to it. If you don't understand any Estonian, Lithuanian, or Latvia, if you understand a little bit of Finnish, from Finland, you may get Estonia somewhat, but you're still going to have a difficult time, because linguistically there's a connection between Estonian and what they speak in Lapland, Finland. Those languages are very similar. There's actually a lot of significant things out there, little significant bits of history that go right by a lot of people. You just have no idea it exists, or that it happened, I should say. But yeah, there's a lot to discover out there. The idea of time travel is very interesting. Is it achievable? Is it worth it? I think the results may be bug-eyed and upside down and discomforting. However, going back in time doesn't have to be about time travel. After having a nice conversation with Patty, I was in the house listening to Forest Brothers songs with the bass up, my eyes closed, and I dreamed of this video. I didn't dream that there would be no fish by now. Maybe this is the nightmare I avoided when I was dreaming earlier. But we shall continue traveling through the night, traveling through time. We're coming up to this old bridge. It was built by the parish. It's owned by the parish, but it leads to federal property. You can see the red lights in the distance. It's a short distance. So that's a base. It's the back gate. If you give it some thought and you look, these bridges can take you back in time. They're not going to take you out of the present. But sometimes, not all bridges, sometimes they will say somewhere in the concrete, usually out this way. Occasionally it'll be on the bridge, like where we're at. It'll say the year that it was made. And I don't know if this one does. I think if it was to say how old it is, it may be in here where the overgrowth is. But like I said, they don't all have a year on them. A lot of bridges you might fish off of may have been built right after the Great Depression, and they all will have some words and some years to tell you, like they were a part of the New Deal. If there is a year, might be on both sides. So just like the other side, there's a lot of overgrowth. We're not going to see it. The New Deal, as far as I remember, I think I'm correct, it was an effort to get people to work, to get work for people, building infrastructure such as bridges. Very quiet night out here. I don't hear much chatter, not yet. there is definitely still people driving back and forth. We're not quite like after midnight or anything. I am going to just chill. You probably already know, you probably suspect that I've been chilling for a while. It's a Friday night, bro. Nobody wants to go do anything fun. Before I got my inspiration from the cup in the tree and the music I was listening to, I thought, what do I want to do? And all I could think was,
I want to make a spooky video.
But this video isn't like particularly spooky, but strange. Right? Because of the nature. We're trying to travel back in time. Travel back in time. Through getting in touch with the blood. Calling upon blood. Not like a vampire. So I don't want you to think that I get sidetracked all the time by dreaming about fishing in foreign countries. I get sidetracked by fishing in all kinds of places, including foreign countries. But of course, I have a great interest in achieving going fishing in all the places that my DNA takes me, and some other side trails, such as Minnesota, because that's where all the Laplanders build the saunas. And there's also a ton of Scandinavian people in Minnesota. So I brought the big light, but I'm not going to bother getting it out until I have a really good reason to. I hear that weird alarm bird that I heard when I made spooky night fishing in Louisiana. So I have a desire to make a bunch of spooky videos leading up to Halloween. It's fun. We may get Blair Witchy about it. We may just go off into third field. Does that make sense? Third dimension. Fifth dimension. Probably go there too. Yeah, did I tell you there's going to be 2 moons? Expect some spookiness. I looked at this water yesterday in the daylight, and it's got this weird rusty hue to it. So it's safe to say this is very, very dirty water. It did rain briefly, I believe, earlier today while I was asleep. Got something. Let's see if there's more there. Not sure what that was. Maybe a cichlid. I was supposed to fish with a robotic zombie tonight, but I didn't realize he was scared of the dark and didn't want to go to the spot that I suggested. But that's cool. I'd rather time travel. Well, there's definitely some fish down there. Yep, and it's exactly what I thought it was. I think this is what I lost. This is just a Rio Grande, Texas Rio Grande cichlid. They're native to, oh, that's an invasive species. I'm supposed to keep it, but yeah, native to South Texas and in Mexico, northern Mexico. Oh, I'm showing you just a random spot. I have a coonhound and a little mix hound, and they both get stuck sniffing random spots on the concrete, and to your naked eye there's nothing there, but they smell something, right? Just yeah, random stuff. Okay, where are we going? Back to that spot, even though it's probably just going to produce that over and over. I'm just chilling, but catching fish makes everything better. Definitely makes this video legit. Otherwise, it would get painted with stripes. Three stripes is cool if it's the shorts or the tracksuit. Can't wait to be able to put on my tracksuit and chill, do some hard chilling. It's still too warm, but we don't really want this video to get painted with stripes. Yesterday we were just so close to the stripes, but technically we caught fish. It was a cast net video. Whoa, some spotlight just flashed me. Whoa, oh, we got a fish. What do we got this time? Oh, we got the same thing. Yeah, you're right. It's a cichlid night. Time traveling cichlid fishing. That's what we're doing. To be honest, time traveling without actually time traveling can get a little boring. It's definitely tedious when the fish aren't biting. It's not like I have a TARDIS in my back pocket, in my house, in my backyard. I don't have one at all. They don't exist, they're not real. However, I enjoyed Doctor Who when I was a kid, watching it on Channel 13. From the black and white to the vintage look that we have tonight. Approaching a new bridge, not so far back in time this one, because we've gone from sodium lights above our head to LED lights above our head. This one looks like we're at the airport, it's so bright. To be honest, there is an airport, there's an airstrip, so I guess it's fitting, but is it fishing? How does it fish, right? I haven't done that great here, but it's super bright. And there's some like sense of safety. I don't know where you're getting it at, but yeah, because there's a base right there maybe, but there's nobody right there. It's just a red light. Maybe the red light scares the baddies off. But really, we came down here not just to fish, but our friend, the alarm squawker, is closer to this bridge than the other one. Oh, as soon as I turn to look over there, you'll put the sock in it. Very talkative tonight, the bird and myself. So I like to watch fishing videos probably more or just as much as you. I watch fishing videos from all these different places, more so than my own backyard. So I follow a lot of anglers, small YouTubers mostly, right? From different places, because they're showing me what fishing's like where they're at. So when I travel there, oh, I was just showing you something over there. So when I travel there, I have an idea of what's going on. But of course, I learn about these places through other sources, not just someone who's fishing. And a lot of these people may not be speaking English. However, I do follow a lot of American anglers in different places, like say from Minnesota to Colorado, California, and Tennessee, of course. I follow an angler. His YouTube channel is DJ Fishing. He's in Estonia. Rarely does his videos in English. The titles sometimes are in English, but mostly in Estonian. And his audio, he's speaking Estonian in the videos, but the dude speaks English as well. So a lot of people are like, I don't watch foreign videos. This vampire, rattled that off like a broken record 11 times one night. Anyway, I know it's difficult to get it when they're not speaking English. If that's what if you speak English, yeah, some people, they just don't want to deal with that. However, you can get it because you can see what they're doing, right? There may be things that you're guessing about, like the hook size or whatever, or who makes that bait, but you get an idea. So in Estonia, they have all kinds of fish, a lot of the same species that they have in the UK and, like, say, the northern states, northern and Midwest, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and a lot of other places up there, like yellow perch, pike. Then they have species that you're not going to find here, like zander, but a zander is very similar to a walleye. And then they have a crucian carp and other kinds of carp. They do have whales, but you're not allowed to target the whales in Estonia because they're protected. They're threatened, right? Their population is too small. Oh, we're having bites right here. But you can go to Latvia to catch whales where there's far more. So yeah, I like to watch DJ fishing so I get an idea, and I've had conversations with them. Here we go. What did we get outside? Oh, here we go. Yeah, it seems like a great guy. I like it when he's doing pike. Lots of big pike in Estonia. Estonia is mostly forested. They have a fish called sea trout, right? Not to be confused with speckled trout, which is also called a spotted sea trout. They have a fish called sea trout that you can wade fish for, and they're going to be super huge. I'm like, you can't see the other hand, right? Saltwater fish, like a salmon size, like big trout, big fighter. So there are weird places to fish in America where there's like abandoned crazy stuff. It's the same thing all over the world. In Estonia, you've got a lot of abandoned Soviet stuff, just like in most former Soviet Union countries. In some of these former Soviet Union countries, Estonia included, they wanted to get rid of the past by putting a hook in their finger. Let me get that out. Okay, there we go. By, you know, getting rid of symbols of the past. And that includes statues, buildings, all this stuff. But they didn't get rid of all of it. So here's a session that could happen. I have to be honest to you. Other people have done it, but not too many, right? Very few. It's a sea trout session. Tallinn, that's the capital. I may be mispronouncing that, but where this location is, it is just northeast of there. It's a drive, but it's not too far, right? And it's on the coast. And what it is an abandoned Soviet Union submarine base where you can catch sea trout. There's a trail, there's different spots to fish there, but you're going to be walking to them from the car park. But yeah, you can walk right through this submarine base, like inside the buildings, and then wade out there, see if you can get yourself a nice sea trout. Water's cold, so just you be warned. I don't think we're gonna get anything nice tonight. We're just super chilling. Might get a pizza with pineapple on it, I don't know. I wonder if it's an illusion, if none of this is real. This is in fact not a modern bridge with airport lighting. This is a mirage because we have some Jurassic Park bird over here. Maybe we're just in this like bubble, and all around us isn't what it seems to be. We've gone too far back in time. The freaking dinosaurs are out there. Somehow I don't think that's true. Pineapple on pizza, yeah. Let's get some light. That's what's sounding good. Maybe watch some very old claymation. Then there's this cartoon I've been watching on YouTube. Pine vinyl. Yeah, pineapple on pizza. And some cartoons. Or just chill to some music. I don't know. But definitely thinking of going to the kitchen right now, getting the kettle on, having a cup of tea, and proceeding from there. Well, we might just like chill, see if we can get a couple more fish. Our time trip may be coming to an end. Dinosaur over my shoulder, barred owl in front of me in the distance right now, continuing to chill. So this is a new bridge built by the base, not the parish. It's not in use yet. It has dates on it. 2022. Yeah, but it's upside down. I don't know why those dates are upside down. More light, please. Thank you. Got dates here that are not upside down. Unless, hey, we can make them upside down. Now they're upside down. But yeah, it's the same. 1/5/22. And I don't know what the numbers up here refer to. Someone does, but we got Waski. It says Waski. Let's come a little closer so you can see a little better. I don't know if you can see. Waski. Is that the contractor? Who's Waski? Is that the designer? Maybe. So together with Squawk Alarm over there, the pterodactyl or whatever creature that is, and the barred owls, off in the distance, we've got coyotes creating the din of the night. And then we've got, like, you know, Babylonian noise, industrial stuff. We're about to have an e-bike motor humming between my legs. When you're returning from your time travel fishing trip, you must not get in a hurry. You do not want to arrive without a leg or some fingers. You want to stay intact. Keep your fingers inside the vehicle, sort of idea. Let's go. To time travel through calling upon the blood that courses through your veins is a lengthy process, very hard to achieve. I'm sorry I didn't go into it in great detail. Yeah, you're right. But the truth is, once I close out this video, I'm going to continue time traveling until I shut my eyes. Thank you for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, being a member of the channel, and time traveling with M. Hood Fishing. See you next time.